I've got my iPad really high. I can't see past it. A little bit late. I went and had some blood tests this morning, which I had to fast for, and oh, there you go. Which I had to fast for, and then I came home and had some brekkie, and then the time got away from me, and it was already like 9:45 by the time I got into the craft room. Anyway, things you have to do. Anyway, so I'm with you now, and I'm just going to wait for a couple of seconds while some people join us. It's great to see some people jumping on. Please let me know who you are and where you're watching from. Got some weird stuff happening, and I'm going to fix it. I know there's somewhere I can go and fix it on my Restream, which is the streaming app that I use, that it's not showing me people's names. So if you pop in a comment, it often comes up with Facebook user or something like that. So please don't think I'm rude if I don't acknowledge you, because I just don't know rightly who you are, but that's fine. I can see a couple come up with names, which is really weird, like Evelyn, you've just popped up as a Facebook user. So it's not everybody, it's just a few. But anyway, let's I'll try and fix that next time I'm in trying to fiddle with things. Anyway, so we'll get started. We've got a few with us this morning. Today I'm going to show you a card that was inspired by an Angela Mayer from the US. It's been such a busy week. I haven't had much time to do anything original of my own. So I'm taking this design straight from Angela. So if she's out there, thank you very much. It's using the wonderful World Designer Series paper, which is a Celebration freebie with its matching stamp set till only this time next week. So the 31st of August is when Celebration ends, and this beautiful paper will be gone. So get the paper and the stamp set free with an order of $180 plus, and that's in Australian dollars, of course. Anyway, it's lovely, and I'm using it. I've got scraps of it everywhere, bits and pieces. I've been using it. I do absolutely adore the colours and the flowers on this particular Designer Series paper. Just make sure my lights are pointed where they're supposed to. I can see it's a little bit dark in the craft room today. It's going threatening rain, so we might have trouble with the light. Okay, so what I'm actually doing to make these cards, and because I haven't actually made it, I've just got everything cut, I can only show you the unmade parts. What we're actually doing is using our rectangular postage stamp punch, which is in the current catalogue, to actually cut out or punch, one will open, these little flowers from this particular Designer Series paper. So it's a pink on one side, and it's got these beautiful sort of individual blooms on the other. So basically all I've done is position the flower like so and punch it out to give me a little postage card sized stamp. I won't do any more because I've got plenty punched out for this project today. I'm going to actually make another one where you use a little round die, so a little round punch even, to punch them out and use the little circles as well. So I won't punch any more out with my postage card stamp, but basically all you're doing is basically just positioning and punching out. And I love the ones that have the purple sort of highlights to them. So I've got one card where I've used the purpley coloured ones, and I've got another card where I've swapped it up and used the pink and yellow ones. But anyway, you've got the idea with that one. So I'm going to make two cards. One is a landscape card and one is a portrait card. And I'm using these two papers as well as the highlight for one and the highlight for the other. The one that uses this colour is basically a direct copy or a case from Angela's card, and then I've swapped it up with the other colour and swapped the colours out, which is a little bit of me. Okay, so let's do the one straight first of all, which is a straight lift of Angela's card, and I'll show you what I've got there. So I've got a Starry Sky card base, normal size card base for me, 8 1/4 by 5 1/2, scored in the middle. And I'm seeing so lots of lovely comments. I will look at the comments after I'm finished, don't worry guys. So yeah, as I say, normal size card base. Then I've got a piece of that purple accent designer series paper, and that is cut the exact length of my card, so 5.5 inches long, but I've got a tiny, tiny, tiny little border at the top and the bottom. This is going to be the landscape one, so yeah, top and bottom. So it's only 4 inches high, so you could got that tiny bit of the very pretty starry sky popping out top and bottom. Then to mount so here are our lovely postage stamp flowers. I know sometimes the post office here in Australia will release a flower series of stamps, and they're very, very similar to that sort of look, although I'm sure these aren't native Australian flowers. But anyway, so I've got the 4 there, and as I say, I've stuck to the ones that have the sort of purple accents to them for this particular card. So there's my 4 there. Then I have a strip of the starry sky, and this is 2.5 by 5.5. So it's going to, as I say, this is our landscape one. It's going to fit exactly across the middle. So if you wanted to conserve your designer series paper, you could probably just cut enough just to peek out the top and the bottom, and you'd get away with, you'd probably make 2 cards for the size of one. But I haven't bothered doing that here, because I do have a couple of packets of the paper that I've fallen in love with. And then I've got a strip of basic white, which is 5.5 long again, but it's this one's 2 3/8 high, so that just fits in there with a tiny bit of the blue showing through. And then I've got some mossy meadow, which is quite bold for this design, and that's going to sit across the middle there. That might just really sort of attack your eyes, and you go, oh my goodness, why she put such a bold color there? But once we actually put the little postage stamps in, you don't see much of it, but it does give that, draw your eye to the design in the middle. So that's the logic there, I believe. So let's just pop this together. I've practically shown you the card now, so you could probably pop off and do it yourself without too many problems. So we've got the designer series paper first. As I say, it's going to line up exactly on the right side and the left side with a tiny bit of the starry sky, which is one of my favourite in colours from the latest catalogue. I am a sucker for blues anyway, you guys know that. So there we have the designer series paper. Make sure you get the orientation right. I nearly just had a heart attack then thinking I'd put it on upside down, but anyway, I hadn't. Okay, so then we're bringing back in our starry sky, and I'm not using dimensionals in any of these. I don't know whether I should. I don't think so. I'm just going to bring that straight in over the top, and I'm not missing anything. I go slightly up a bit, so you see more at the bottom. No, I might go central. We'll go central with this one. Yeah, so I'm not putting any ribbon on this one. This is slightly different to Angela's. She had some ribbon on hers, but I wasn't really happy with the way the ribbon looked on mine when I was popping it together in my head, so I've left the ribbon off. Okay, so then we'll bring in our layer of white. As you see, this is just such a simple, once you've got those images stamped out, it's such a simple card with a bit of layering and you're in. So there's our basic white. Nearly I could call myself calling it Whisper White then. How long has it been since it's been called Whisper White? Over a year, I'm sure. I'm just going to give that a bit of a burnish. It's not quite folding flat. There we go. So we've got the white. Then we're going to bring in this mossy meadow. And again, pop that there. So you've got a bit of height happening here. You've got sort of 3 layers. So obviously you've already got a bit of 3D happening with the sort of amount of height you've got with those 3 layers of cardstock. Then we're going to bring in our little flowers. Now I had a bit of an accident with that one there, but I'm not too worried about it because it will actually be covered when I put the sentiment box on. So I'm going to pop these on here across the middle of our mossy meadow. I'll put the 2 ends on first, and then I can position the others properly in between them. With the length of his card and the dimensions of that punch, they do pretty much fit without any gap between them. So there's not a lot of wriggle room as far as that's concerned. So I'm trying to get distance the same top and bottom. And as I say, it's going to line up pretty much exactly with the edge there, that first one. Moved under my fingers. There we go. And I'll do the other end. Try and get it the same top and bottom as that first one. And again, lined up with the edge. And it sticks to my fingers and moves, but that's all right. That's life. Okay, so we'll bring in these other ones now. And I know when I've got them lined up because those little serrations of the flowers, of the stamps, will actually form little circles. So I know I've got it lined up when they form circles rather than, I'll show you in a second, you'll know what I mean. They actually form little circles between them where the mossy meadow sticks through. So if they weren't lined up, they'd be sort of out of sync with each other, and it wouldn't be lined up like that. So that's there. Again, I don't think it needs any, maybe the sentiment box. Let's pop the sentiment box on dimensionals anyway. So I've got a deckled rectangle, of course, unsurprisingly to most of you. I've got a deckled rectangle I've taken over as my favourite stamps. I'm just going to pop that down the bottom there, just off to the edge with its sentiment on there. Colour. I thought maybe I would, for this one, use... Hang on, I want the rich raspberry for the other one. I want my beautiful starry sky, which I can't find. Excuse me. I've been a bit naughty and haven't put the stickers on my stamps, on my ink pads yet. Everything's back to front. Just bear with me for a second. I'll see if I can turn everything so it's well, is it back to front to you guys? Can you tell me? Does that starry sky ink pad back to front? It looks like it's back to front to me. There, that should be right now. If that flicks back to being the right way, all the words were back to front. But anyway, that's all good. I think I've fixed it. So tell me if it's yeah, it looks like it's fixed. A couple of you have said. Apologies for that. It seems like the settings on my streaming service have done some silly things to me. Probably the problem that I'm having with the names as well. Okay, so I'm going to use the Wonderful World stamp pad. Doesn't have any sentiments as such, so I thought I'd go back to one of my favourites, which is the Artistically Inked, and I'm just going to use the thanks on this one, just because I think it's a nice size for my deckled rectangle. Just move these beautiful papers out of the way. Find my blocks. Here they are. And we'll give that one a stamp. Fits just about perfectly, really. There we are. It's quite disconcerting when you see everything around the wrong way. You sort of wonder what's happened to the world. Anyway, all good. Okay, so I've got my little sentiment there. I'm just wondering whether it needs something backing it, because it looks like it's going to just disappear into those. See how it just sort of seems to disappear into those postage stamps with the white on the white. Probably needs something behind it. How about, she says, I'm just wandering over to my ribbon collection. If I grab my Starry Sky, this is my Starry Sky ribbon, the metallic ribbon. Here, I could grab a little bit around my hand a couple of times. and pop it. There's too much of it there. It's covering my postage stamps too much. Maybe just a smaller loop. Yeah, what do you reckon? A smaller loop of the little ribbon behind there? Or I'm going to use you guys' brain to tell me what you think I should do. So that's the ribbon. Or will I pop some starry sky behind it? I think I've just seen someone say starry sky. Or is that an answer to someone's question? Was that starry sky? Yeah, there. So I could cut another of my deckled rectangles. Don't really want to go up a size because it will cover too much of the, you see how it will cover too much of the postage stamps. But if I cut one the same size, get my mini out. So we've got a possible ribbon, and we've got, well, I can see people are preempting me and they're saying cardstock. So we might have a winner already. So if I cut that, okay, don't anything come crashing down there. Cool. Okay, so we've got that. Oh, it is a big one. Oh, no, it's not. What I could do is, we'll get rid of that for a second. I could cut this starry sky one in half and back it there. No ribbon, just cardstock. Well, if I cut that in half, I can have a wee bit of it peeking out the top and a wee bit of it peeking out the bottom. Or ink around the edges. Yeah, that's a good idea, Maureen. You could go like that, and it hasn't really taken too much of the postage stamps away. Let's give that a go. Actually, I do like the idea of inking around the edge, but I know I'd make a horrible mess of that today. I'm not particularly feeling artistic. Isn't that horrible? I haven't been feeling, I shouldn't really admit this, I suppose, but I haven't really been feeling the crafting love for a week, which is a bit difficult because, you know, you sort of have to, when you're doing something as a business, you sort of have to do it every day, but I've been a bit stale. I suppose it's been a pretty stressful time in the old family, but I'm sure it'll turn around. In the meantime, just trying to keep it ticking over, if that's probably not a nice thing to say. But anyway, I'm sure we all go through it. Okay, so let's just pop that second one there. Just again, just sneaking its little nose underneath. And there we are. What do we reckon? We reckon we like that? Yeah, I think that's a lot better. Yep, cool. Let's get the dimensionals in on the act. And pop them on there. There we are. Okay, so there is our little sentiment down the bottom there. What I might do as well is grab some bling. Well, in this case, I'm not going to use bling as such. I'm going to use the in colour because we're using our beautiful starry sky. I'm going to use our in colour decorative dots. This end one, they're very similar, aren't they? The two end ones. One's supposed to be the, what's it called? Orchid Oasis, and one's supposed to be the Starry Sky, and they're very similar, but I think this one's the Starry Sky, so we'll use this one. And we'll just pop some of these around somewhere. That one's too big. I don't like that one too big. I'll just use the little ones, I think. Come on, you. There we are. Okay, so that's our first one. I'm going to pop a little white one inside, and then we will, that one's done. So hopefully you like that one. I think you could do that with just about any image, even if you've got some little images that need to be, that you can stamp. You know, you could stamp them onto white and put them in the postage, and then sort of do the same layout with any designer series paper, really. Okay, so that is the one that's, well, very nearly. I know Angela actually used ribbon, as I say, and she cut out her sentiment, which probably would be nice as well. But I'm going to leave that as is. Let's do the one where I've swapped the colours out, and I'm using the pink and yellow flowers in this one, and I've swapped it to a pink themed card base. So I've got my Flirty Flamingo card base here. This one's going to be a portrait card, so it's going to go this way. So that's in my Flirty Flamingo card base. Then I've used that other really pretty pink designer series paper, and again it's exactly the same width as the card base, but it leaves a wee tiny little border of the Flirty Flamingo top and bottom. So this one's going to be a birthday card. I know that off by before I even start, because I'm going to give it to my dear friend Sally, who told me she won't be watching today, so I thought I'd get away with doing her birthday card. It was actually her birthday Monday. What day is it today? Wednesday. Yeah, Monday, I think. Yeah, but I'm doing her birthday card today. So that's pink there. I don't think of her as a pink person, but anyway, she's getting a pink card. There we go there. So I've got that. Again, we have our strips of sort of this is the Flirty Flamingo as well. So this is 2.5 high and exactly the same width as your card. And then, yes, I know it's Naomi. Deb's just said it's Naomi's birthday next week. I know. I've got something. I better get that in the post too. Oh, she's watching. I've given it away. Anyway, yes, it's Naomi's birthday tomorrow, next week. And then I've got, so that's my white layer. And then I've gone as a contrast colour in this one, I've gone rich raspberry. So that's the contrast there. And again, it does assault the eyes somewhat with the sort of contrast, but when we put our little postage stamps in, it's going to be much nicer, trust me. Okay, so let's layer this up. So we've got white on Flirty Flamingo. Oh my goodness me, it's a big 4-0 for Naomi. Well, we're going to have to make a fuss of her in Chatty Stampers group, aren't we, Deb? Actually, we've got Zoom on Sunday. Are you guys coming to Zoom on Sunday? I'm sure she'll be busy. Anyway, so there, we've got our Whisper White. I've said it again, basic white on our Flirty Flamingo, and this is our rich raspberry, which I do have trouble getting my mouth around, rich raspberry. And that's layered up as well. So the layers here are, as I say, exactly the same width as my card, 2.5, 2 3/8, and 2 1/4, just to give that sort of layered effect there. Okay, so now we're bringing our little postage stamps. So again, I've used, as I say, the pink and yellow ones. So I think go really well with that paper underneath. And again, they're going to fit pretty close. think there's a wee bit more room when you do it this way, so we're going to pop those on next. Again, I'm going to do both ends first and then fit the middle one in. Actually, I want to put this one at that end. Just forgive me for a second. I wanted to put this one at the end where the sentiment's going to be. Just because I cut that bottom off and didn't have the little postage stamps on it, so I'm going to cover it with the sentiment. Okay, and then this one, which is already glued. But won't move. I'll put some more glue on it to give it a bit of movement. Here we are. Now a little middle one in. Come on. There we are. So as you can see, that one's a little bit cut off because I did cut it off by accident when I was cutting it, but I'm going to cover that as we did with the other. I'll cover that with the sentiment so you won't see that. I'm going to bring this one in. I'm going to actually pop this a little bit higher, I think. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit higher than halfway, just to make it a little bit more differenter, more different. Make sure I've done, yep. There we go. Oh, and before anyone goes, I'm going to draw the prize for my card makers noughts and crosses at the end. I meant to do it at the beginning, but we'll do it at the end. So I've got some names in my little drawing box, and I'm going to draw the winner of this month's noughts and crosses challenge. So stick around if you were in that little challenge. Thank you if you did. Now I've got a stitched rectangle sentiment box for this one. What I'm going to do is, it's quite wide, but I need the length because I'm going to use the happy birthday from the Artistically Inked, and it's longer but narrower. So I'm going to cut my sentiment down a wee bit. So I'm using the happy birthday. To stick with the theme, I should use my rich raspberry because that's one of the colours on the card and in the paper. And it's nice and dark, hopefully. My ink pad, I haven't used it for a while. So I'm going to put my happy birthday towards the bottom of the sentiment box, like so. So it's at the bottom. There's a bit of waste at the top there. I'm going to grab another stitched rectangle die, a bigger one. Okay, so here I've got a bigger, no, it has to be bigger than that. I'm going to use a second bigger die to actually trim my, yep, that one's good. I'm going to use that to trim down this rectangle so that it's the right dimensions. There's not quite one, there's a skinny rectangle in that die set, but it wasn't quite long enough for the happy birthday. So I've popped that there. I'll grab my larger die, position that so it's straightish. Yep. Inky fingers. If that doesn't stay, I might have to bring in some tape, but I think it'll stay now. Okay, so we'll basically cut that down using the second die to make a sort of customed sized rectangle, which should be perfect. There we go. Okay, so that's what we've got when you cut that down. Now we've got a die, a stitched rectangle, which is our perfect size. Again, I'm going to pop it there. And this time, because it's smaller, I don't think it's too much of a problem. I don't know that it needs the paper behind it. I might actually leave this one, just leave it like that, because it's actually skinnier than our big deckled rectangle. I think that actually sits nicer on its own. Anyway, that's what we'll contrast them anyway. So I'm going to use dimensionals again. I'm going to use my ends because they're perfect for this. And there. Now, all the ladies who are doing my August textured chic class, and there's actually still time to sign up for that one if you it's not too late. My texture chic class. I'm waiting on a delivery of all my goodies from Stamping Up, and unfortunately it's a bit slow. I ordered everything nearly 2 weeks ago now, and unfortunately the Tassie deliveries are a bit slow. So once I get everything, I will knuckle down and finish cutting the sets and send things out to you, especially the ladies who have ordered the stamp sets. They'll be there as well. So I'm not far away. Apologies if you're waiting. But yeah, as I say, it's been a long time coming, this particular order. Seems to be happening a bit lately. I might have to start doing express orders. There we are. So that's our little happy birthday there. There we go. Going to bring in some bling again. I didn't know whether maybe the pinky versions of again, these are the matte dots. There's a pinky version of the sorbet. What is it called? Sweet sorbet. It's sort of more towards the pinky end of the spectrum. You can see that there. I think that might actually go quite nicely with our flirty flamingo. So I might use those. I was either going to use those or my iridescent gems, but I'll use these. And again, I'm just going to stick to the little ones. I don't want anything too overpowering. Eek. There we are. Okay, so there we are. As long as nobody tells Sally that's her birthday card I've made. There you go. Cool. Okay, so that's our cards for today. As I say, pretty much this one's exactly copied from our US demonstrator, Angela Mayer. So if you watch this, Angela, thank you for that. And this is the one I have changed the colours out a bit just to use the pink version of the stamps, of the little postage stamp cuts rather than the purple. So hopefully you like those. Give them a go. As I say, you could intermingle that with any like small flower stamp or anything, or even just use a part of a stamp. So say you've got a bigger flower, you could just stamp on the corner just to give it a bit of a look of sort of like something happening off the screen, so to speak. Now, let's draw our prizes before we forget, because I was just very nearly going to let you go and forget now. Okay, so this is for, if you're a member of my little customer group, Australians only, we had a noughts and crosses challenge, which I suppose for our American friends is tic-tac-toe, but we call it noughts and crosses in Australia, where the ladies had to pick one card element, like crossways, sideways, diagonal, and the prize is a free fun fold class. I thought I might as well make it worth your while, so I do a fun fold class every month. So if you I'll pop you on the list for the next one free if you win. If you're already a member of my VIP club, I'll just tack another free one on the end of your current membership, so you won't miss out there. So okay, so I've got my little entries in there, hand going in, and you'll have to trust me that I'm not looking when I'm not. I don't even know that I've got one. I think I've got one. Okay, and the winner of the extra class is Evelyn Silk. I think I saw Evelyn on here. Yes, you are, Evelyn. There you go. So, Evelyn, thank you for entering my our challenge this month, and I'll try and put one up every month. I think it's quite a nice thing to do to get your old creative juices going. So, Evelyn, you're a member of the VIP club, so I'll just add another class to the end of your membership if that's okay with you. Cool. All right. So, congratulations. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 cards. I'd love to see what you came up with using that as a sketch. You know, maybe you do something similar with this paper if you've got it, or something similar with a stamp, a nice little stamp that might fit in those little postage stamps. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for joining me. You're welcome, Evelyn. I just saw it there. And I will chat to you all again at the weekend. So